What is going on, everyone? We are live. Welcome to SB Fantasy Football Podcast, where, gosh darn it, we try hard. As always, I'm Alan.
I'm RD. What's up, man?
You know the fantasy football season, for the most part, is done. Right? There's still a few. I know there's someone who came in a couple weeks ago was like, "Man, I go to week 18," and I was like, "First thing you need to do is just write a strongly worded letter to your commissioner and tell him to go himself."
I'm
All due
I'm about to send the same letter to my cousin's group, right? They do it where you can't just have a great week. You've got to have 2 good weeks. So the playoffs are like week 14 and 15 combined, or 15, 16, and then 17 and 18. So at least
Oh,
we're going. And I'm
oh,
like, I don't care. I don't care anymore.
Duncan's in the house. Duncan's ready. He put this in commented this. Let's
Easy.
talk about it. Pick
Easy.
2 keepers. PPR, Joe Burrow, Chase Brown, Devin Achane, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, James Cook.
I didn't see evens in there, so I was very quick to say I know who I'm picking, but now I'm perplexed. I like
You're
that you got such a solid team, Duncan. I'll tell you, I applaud you for the group of men you've, you know,
assembled.
assembled and brought to the table. The 2-time back-to-back champion we're talking to right now, Duncan. Yeah, I mean, obviously you're keeping Chase. There's no way. He's the number 1 receiver. And
No. That's Chase. That's not Jamar Chase. That's Chase Brown.
Oh, Chase Brown, my heart just fell. Oh, well, then Mike Evans and Jordan or James Cook.
Really? Okay. See, I
I
think Chase Brown. Like, look at how he finished the year, minus the last game, right? But everyone's going to have a bad week, right? But once he took over that backfield, he was a must play, Devin Achane. Here's the thing with Achane, he goes as Tua goes. If Tua's in, Achane's a must play. Tua's out, just go ahead and sit him down because he ain't going to do anything for you. And then of course James Cook. I mean that Buffalo offense runs right through him. And my thought process here is Chase Brown, Devin Achane, and James Cook. Those are guys that are going to be first round picks, right? Those are your first round picks. Your Mike Evans is more along the lines of like a second round pick. I think Terry might work his way up to a second round pick this next year. He's typically been a third or later, but with the way him and Jane Daniels really clicked this last year, he he was a must play, right?
People are going to be a little sore about how it went this week, though. You know what I mean? People are going to remember it and be like, but you're right. A-Chain was a number, 5 running back, and then you have James Cook, I think, down at like 9 or 10. But Chase Brown was right behind him, and he just didn't get, he was splitting time with Zach Moss earlier in the year. So now it's the Chase Brown show. And as long as he's healthy, I mean, it's him or Brown. It's like, okay, who's going to be, more along the line, who do you think, how's the schedule looking, right? Who are they playing? Who are they? And you always have to keep in the back of your mind that Josh Allen's going to vulture 1,000,000 touchdowns from James Cook. Now, he'll get them early in the season, but he might not get them as the season progresses. As you've noticed, he's kind of fallen off.
Right. Like for me, it's between Brown, Achane, and Cook. And I want to, but we probably don't have to make those decisions right now. If you have to make them right now, that kind of sucks, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to see where free agency takes you, right? And if, let's just say, one of these teams signs another running back, that could impact. But I mean, right off the bat, I'm thinking those 3. Joe Burrow, you're going to be able to draft him, right? Yeah. Quarterbacks you're going to get later. He's definitely one that you want to target. But here's the thing with Joe Burrow. Draft a backup who's going to be good the first few weeks, because you don't want to play Joe Burrow for like the first 3 weeks.
Takes him a bit to get going.
It's
like you're pulling on the lawnmower, and you don't ever get it on the first couple pulls. It's old, it's been hurt. It's been beat up, you kind of haven't taken care of it. You haven't surrounded it with.
It's the first mow of the season,
Yeah. You gotta take a little bit, and we said the same thing. Well, not the same thing about A-Chain, but we've talked about A-Chain and Miami running backs. How much were we out on them? But that was the bright spot. Like, oh, you know what? You could probably get A-Chain, but how are they going to run it? But obviously, it's clear cut. A-Chain is Haas. He's top dog out there, and he finished number 5. It was a tough year, right? He's the first. He's number 5, but the other guys were so much higher. You know what I mean? Like,
And
he's 20 something points behind Henry, 30 points behind Robinson, a bucket of points behind Gibbs, and then a boatload behind Barkley, right?
right. And that's all because of Tua. Like those games that Tua was out, A Chain was you just didn't play him. You just couldn't play him. It's just that offense runs differently when they have the threat to pass in there. And that's what you need for A Chain. A Chain's not one of those guys who's gonna smash between the tackles, get the hard fought yards. He's the get out on the ends. He needs more open lanes, right? And to utilize that speed.
I like him
Uh
in the slot too. I'll be honest. When he lines up toward, like a little quick dart pass, I mean, he'll rip that thing off for 25 yards and a touchdown. He really only busted 3 times this year, if you want to look at it. As a well, week 4, I didn't go all the way back, but it only shows like week 4, 5 points, week 5, 2 points. But I mean, the meat of the season, he was double digits. Now he double digits 10 points, which would kind of suck, but 26, 35, 21, 31. He did, it sucked last week against Cleveland, but then again, like you mentioned, Tua was out.
yeah. And so you just got to look and see. Those are the 3 guys that are right there off the top on the radar. Um, let's see what happens with the offseason, and let's see where players go. See if some of these guys sign contracts. Let's see who these teams draft, right? Just to kind of see where they sit.
But
I,
gun to
I
your
love
head right now, who you picking?
a gun to my head right now. I'm probably going. I'm going Chase Brown, and I'm going James Cook
I'm going to
because
do Brown and A-Chain. That's what I'm going to do.
I can't count on Tua. I
Yeah.
can't count on Tua. That's the
But
thing with A-Chain is if Tua's out, I can't play him. I
yeah,
cannot play him at all. And there's a good chance that he's going to be out at some point in time because he's just not smart these days, and he likes to tackle head first after he throws a pick.
that was so
Um,
crazy. Just get him a Guardian cap. And he's like, I don't want to wear that stupid thing. It's like,
yeah,
hell, you'd rather
no,
be stupid than look stupid. I got you. I got you.
that's cool. He likes throwing up gang signs when he gets hit.
Oh, man, that's
Yeah,
tough stuff. That's tough
yeah.
stuff.
Well, I mean,
But I think even like with Cook, he started off like amazing, right? And then he had several games where he busted. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, well, you just don't, but we're big fans of Cook. He'll be ranked high in our rankings coming out in like June, July, or whenever we start doing them. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it now, Chase Brown, I mean, it just depends. I mean, they signed who they pick up? They picked up it's not Roshan Johnson. Is it Roshan Johnson? No, he still plays in Chicago. They picked up some old running
um,
back from the Bears. But
yeah,
anyways, yeah, but it's always like, all right, who's gonna
he,
be who are they going to pick up and things like that? Because if it's his show and they're letting him run with it, Khalil Herbert, if
yes,
it's his show and they're letting him run with it, fine, great, because he'll just duplicate. He catches the ball out of the backfield. He runs hard. He's a playmaker. So, hey, Lizzie, how you doing?
what's up, Lizzie?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, and Duncan, that's something that you know, and that people were talking about Saturday. What are we going to do in the off season? And something that I still want to start getting content out, keep getting content out to you guys on a weekly basis, where we talk about guys' performance over the last year. Let's start getting some early rankings out there, right? Let's start talking about it. Let's start figuring things out. Um,
the draft should
and
be fun.
yeah, I can't wait for the draft. The draft is going to be, especially it's all flipped upside down now because the Giants decided they want to win a game, right?
True
Uh,
Luck out there just dropping dimes, man.
he's like, "You're not bringing in Shador. I'm running the show." But I mean, Shador could probably still fall to them.
Yeah,
Because
the other teams don't need him.
the Patriots, I think, which have the number 1 pick now, they're not drafting a quarterback. They got Drake May. They just drafted Drake May. They're not going to. They're not going to jump ship on him yet, especially because Drake May started showing some promise. Right, the first part when he first started was a little bit rough, but you got to let these rookies work through these things, right?
What do you expect?
And you got to get some talent around them. You got to build that offensive lineup to protect them. You got to get some receivers.
Yeah, this is the
Figure out what
worst
you're doing with
lineup
the run game.
there is in the
Yeah,
league, obviously. I mean, it's a terrible
right.
lineup. Speaking of the NFL draft, Duncan, it's over at Lambeau this year. Yeah, heading over there. I like that Lambeau Field's like in a neighborhood.
Yeah,
I want to go up there, but I'd have to catch it like early fall because I'm not freezing. I can't do it. You're going? Nice.
There you go.
We went to the one in Dallas when it came through, and we had a lot of fun. That was when Baker was drafted. Baker
Yeah.
was in there. Then you had Lamar
Lamar.
Jackson was
Yeah.
number 32. Yeah, it was a fun year.
Yeah, that was a good. We had a good time. We were there day one, had tickets to day one of the draft, and had a blast.
Mhm.
It was an all day affair.
It's a long
We had
day.
yeah, it was. Um, so let's kind of get into who are guys that just didn't quite cut it this year.
I mean,
Besides Kyle Pitts,
CMC.
I
Let's be
mean,
honest. He's the
the
bust of the
biggest bust of
year.
them all, bust of the year, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say CD was a complete bust. He got some points and he got you whatever, but then he got put on the shelf. You know,
A
him
championship
holding
week
out.
gets put on the shelf for you.
Yeah, and him, him holding out. Whatever happened between him and Dak, he was like just pissy all season. Just had a bad attitude. Right, the ball didn't hit him right in the freaking hands wherever the hell he was standing. He had a problem with that, and he still put up points and whatnot, so he was fine. But yeah, I think it's gonna be CMC, and it's unbelievable. Like I didn't want him because I was worried about the injury. I passed, and then of course the guy I got played half ass, and of course Dak got hurt. And my
Duncan doesn't.
goodness, man.
Duncan hates him. Last year he kept CMC and CD, which I mean, you talk about it, but CD was still a top 5 receiver this last year. He had 101 catches
He's fine.
for 1,194 yards. Only 6 touchdowns though. I think that's the big departure this year. That once you lost Dak, that's kind of where he would have had more than 6 touchdowns if Dak was in, right?
Yeah.
Um, that hurts a little bit, but I still had a very productive year. Just his bad weeks were really bad, and his good weeks were really good.
So let me
Right?
I pulled up our draft. Not the one for strikeout or the one for gangsta, our home draft, not the one
Okay.
for the listener league. And of course, we all have keepers, right? Whereas it's a 10-team league, but we all have keepers. So first pick I got is CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, Breece Hall, Amon Ra, Justin Jefferson, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Devontae Adams, Marvin Harrison, and Travis Etienne. Now, Hall, I think, is a mega. I think they're all bust until you get to Barkley.
You mean Hill? You
Huh?
mean Hill? You said Hall.
Breece Hall.
Oh, Breece Hall. Okay.
Breece Hall, Big
Hill.
Dogs took Breece
Yeah.
Hall.
Yeah.
And Saquon, he obviously scored more than I need to go back to all offensive players. There we go.
He had about 40 more points than Derrick Henry, depending on your scoring. Like I'm looking at Yahoo default scoring, which is half point PPR.
Yeah. And Devontae, he had a couple good games. Taylor didn't really make an impact until the last 2 weeks, which if you actually made it to the playoffs, then you probably won. But if you didn't because you had him all year, you probably didn't make the playoffs. And then Etienne was our last pick. Yeah, I think he's a mega bust. And now people are talking about you can't even buy low on him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got to see what happens with that Jacksonville situation, coaching wise. I mean, Peterson's got to be gone, right?
Yeah.
You got to bring a new coach in there, and depending on who they bring in there is going to depend on how I feel about ETN. ETN could end up being a steal next year in your draft because he's not going to go high. It's all going to be potential, right? But no one's going to take a very high. I don't think anyone's going to take a real high risk on him. But he's someone who could potentially have a really good year next year again, depending on what they do with the coaching staff.
I will say this though, Jamar Chase, obviously he was wide receiver 1. Justin Jefferson was number 2. He was 70 points behind Chase, but then you got Amon Ra. I thought he did a little bit lower than what he did, but he had put up 302 points, solid number 3. Next, all the way down, like 40 points below him, Brian Thomas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, solid work. I'm looking up. I'm trying to find out what round that we picked him up in.
Who's that?
Marvin Harrison. Okay, so he technically was a first round pick in our league, which is technically round 2 because we have a keeper. We all have our keepers. So, I mean, that's pretty solid. Harrison hit, Jefferson hit, St. Brown hit, Lamb hit, technically, because Lamb still finished, 5? So,
Harrison.
Marvin Harrison Jr.? Or, yeah. Oh, Brian Thomas. I'm looking at Brian Thomas. I'm getting those two confused.
I'm like, that's why I'm like, Marvin
yeah.
Harrison's nowhere near the top.
Yeah. I'm trying to look for him now. Where is he? No, not Harrison. Was it? Oh boy,
Oh,
how
Brian
far
Thomas
down?
was a late. Brian Thomas was a late draft pick.
Man,
Um, yeah, he was a real late pick.
Brian Thomas, yeah, round 10,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
finished top 5, 4,
yeah.
top 4, excuse me. Yeah, that he was the I think he was like the pick of the draft. He had to have been, right? I mean, he's your steal. You got so much value on him, you know. Oh, you picked him too. Yeah, you got him in the 10th round.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Oh, you went Williams, and then Thomas went right after you. So, Doc. There you go.
Okay. Doc got him. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean,
Crazy.
definitely, I'm just kind of looking. I mean, maybe, yeah, he's definitely going to be one of your better picks this year. Duncan wants to know who's going to be the best coming out of the draft this year. Have you done any? I haven't really done any draft research yet. As far as players coming out, um, I don't know. To be honest with you, I hadn't really looked too much into. I don't watch a ton of college, um,
Yeah.
so I don't even know who's all declared for the draft yet.
Yeah. I mean, they talk. All right. So obviously, Travis Hunter, he's going to be coming out. And obviously, he's going to want to play receiver. He's not playing both ways. It's the pros.
No, he
Let's
wants to play both ways. He
yeah,
wants to
that's
play
not
both
happening.
ways.
I
So
understand that you play like at Colorado, and then half the teams you play kind of suck, but you're in the pros now. And so even like the worst pro teams can drum the hell out of whatever. You can try it. Knock yourself out, man. I'm pulling for you. I really am. I don't know about Sanders. I don't really care. Like, another rookie quarterback and it's got a lot of attitude and you know,
but then with a lot of these, it's going to depend on where they end up though too,
come on,
right?
man. Yeah.
Uh, because like right out of the gates, everyone's high on Rome Odunze,
Hmm.
and I said, let's pump the brakes on that. He's with the Bears, and the Bears suck.
Yeah, you have to
Uh,
worry about who's actually throwing on the ball. He's a great playmaker. He's a great receiver. Unfortunately,
and
he's
he
got
went to a crowded receiver room too, right?
mhm.
DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift out of the backfield. He just went somewhere where there was just you got one football to sling around. And Caleb Williams isn't the guy that's going to sling it around to everybody,
Yeah.
right? He's not that guy. Um,
I would like to see where Cam Ward goes. I think he's from the U. I'd like to see who's going to pick him. I wouldn't be shocked if he went in front of Shadur Sanders. I don't think Carson Beck. I don't know how high or where he'll be drafted. I don't really have a lot of faith in much other quarterbacks, running backs. They talk about this Ashton Jonty.
Ashton Gentry, that dude's a beast.
Yeah. I'd like to see
Depends
where
on
he
where he ends up.
goes. I'm excited to see where he goes, and if it's like a run heavy offense too, and they just let him bowl and ball, just run over people. I'd like to see that. I don't know, but that's kind of where I'm at. I'll do a little bit more. I'll take a. I mean, I was watching football all day today too, and that Texas game was crazy.
I watched the end of it. I saw the end of it.
They
I was
jumped out
listening
in the
to
first
it.
quarter and then just let them just come on back in.
I was listening when the safety happened, and like I that was like as soon as I turned as the radio was turned on right in my car, and they're like, and it's 17-5. I was like, what is 17-5? What
Yeah,
the hell is this?
yeah.
But yeah, you got to see who's going to be coming out. Um, I think Quinn Ewers is going to end up staying another year, but I don't think it's going to be at Texas. Texas is done with him.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
he's going to Notre Dame. I think that's what they were
it,
talking about him because obviously Manning's up next, and they're like, "We're
yeah,
not waiting anymore. We're not wasting any more time, buddy."
yeah, because they don't want to lose Manning, right?
Exactly.
Um, they want and Manning's going to be good. When he came in and played this year, he played good.
Mhm.
Um, so it will be interesting to see where all that what happens with that. Does yours end up because there's rumors out there that some school and I don't know if there's everything I've seen there's not a school linked to it, but they're offering them 6 million to come.
Jesus, I mean, why leave? Why even leave college? You're not going to make that in the pros. Just get the UIL money, man. Just get the payment from the school and hang out.
Right? Like cool. I'm gonna cash 6 mil no matter what, and let's
Slay
have
some
fun,
college ass. Have fun.
right? I
Yeah,
don't
right
have
now
to
the Rose
blast.
Bowl's Rose Bowl's still going on. It's 41-21. Ohio State was beating the brakes off of Oregon. Oregon
Yeah,
started kind of making it a little interesting, but I mean they got a touchdown before I think the end of the half. Congratulations. But it's 3 minutes left in the game. Yeah, it's over. Yeah, I mean, they scored 8 points. That touchdown right as like time expired, and then they put up another one in the third. Yeah, they're not going anywhere. It's over, baby.
Yeah. Any surprises for you in the quarterback world for this last year?
For this year,
This
I'm
last year.
surprised. Well, or yeah, I'm surprised. No, we were actually kind of high on Jaden Daniels. We were kind of seeing where he would end up. We weren't
You weren't
overly
that high.
excited.
You weren't that high on.
Um, but
I
yeah,
mean,
I mean, I
he's
was
your number
excited.
4 quarterback
Yeah,
this last year.
I was excited to see him. I think Baker making a statement. I love that Baker just slung it this year. I lost to Baker due to an issue on my end. I picked up a quarterback and didn't. I thought it put him in. Didn't put him in,
Oh,
and cost me the SB fantasy football championship. But I've been in a fog for about a week and a half now. Been on the booze, pretty saucy. Been waking up kind of foggy, but I think I'm impressed with how Bo Nix played towards the end. I think he's going to be
he
fun to
was a
watch.
top 10 quarterback this last year.
Sam Darnold you put him on a good team, surrounded by talent and a good and competent coaching. You see what it can do. But yeah, I think Baker. I think the biggest surprise is Jaden being in the 4 hole. But
Right.
you're looking at the top 3. That's who I talk about: Jackson, Allen, and Burrow, like every single year, right? That I did expect Hurts to be higher, but I think since Hurts actually got hurt, it knocked him down a couple points. But he's fallen to like 7th, I think, sixth or 7th. But yeah, Darnold, my goodness, we were both kind of out on Mahomes just because
he still finished top 10.
Yeah, it took a little bit to get there, but he got there. He was putting up 14 points every single week until here recently, but
right.
You couldn't start him. That was the thing, right? Like if you draft him, you were so pissed. You could not start him. He's a free agent in most leagues. Well, I shouldn't say most leagues. He's rostered 97. He's not starting in any though, right? But yeah, I mean I expect a little bit more out of Josh or Justin Herbert. We both were, and I think this year I finally had enough. I was like, I'm done. And
I was all in on Justin Herbert this year, and
every year.
I don't think I
You're
was
hoping, and you just keep hoping, and I feel you.
But he finished the year strong this year.
Uh-huh.
I think the first part of the year is him learning Harbaugh's system, right, and him and Harbaugh feeling each other out. I had him. I think I had him as my number 1 QB. That sucks.
Yeah.
But
he just didn't do good.
He was okay. He was okay. He was good for spot starts for me. A guy that I caught some flack for putting him in my top 10, stayed in the top 10, Jared Goff. Outside of that, he had that 5 interception game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially since that 5 interception game, 19 touchdowns and 1 interception. The last several weeks since they've been needing to count on the offense, dude's just been balling out. Just been playing great. And I honestly, for me, he's worked his way back into that MVP conversation. You go out there,
the MVP on his team.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Yes.
The running back tandem was the MVP, I think. He did 25 the last 2 weeks. The cool thing about him was he ran because they were trying to run up the score on a couple of teams and got into a shootout. I think that was with Buffalo. They got in that shootout with. And that's kind of what I was hoping for this time too. I was like, oh buddy, come on, just keep throwing it. Cause I was like, give me 150 points like you did, cause our league's crazy. Right. He scored me 150 points 1 week. I was like, I sat back, I go, I could have benched half my team and still kicked your ass. You know what I mean? But yeah,
I mean, you look at his performance of the last 4 weeks, 3 touchdowns in 3 of those and 5 in the game against Buffalo. He's been playing great. And you go out there and you beat this Detroit Minnesota game is going to be a hell of a game. And if he goes out there and does what he's been doing the last 4 or 5 weeks, where he's going to throw 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, your team's 14-2, and you've got a quarterback who's got some numbers that he's put up that no one else has ever put up in the history of the league. You've got to consider him for that MVP. He'll be in that MVP running. So
they're not even including Baker at this point. They only talk about Jackson and Allen. And I made a comment. And I was like, what are you talking about? You're not talking about Burrow. What if we make the playoffs? You know what I mean? No discussion of Burrow. And boy, I had half the people love it. the other half hated it. I'm like, he's got more yards, like almost 1,000 more than Josh Allen, right? I was like, he's got more touchdowns. I go, but they only want to talk about those two for some. I don't know why either. Like, I don't know what the deal is. Where like it's either Jackson or Allen. I'm like, why is it just those two? Like, why? Why?
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, even with see Darnold and Darnold, I mean, you like I said, you can make the case for him being MVP too. I mean, seriously, he's only like 10 points behind him in Goff. So, but I think, and he's got man, the crazy thing in the yards category, because Baker had 42.79, Jared Goff had Goff had 43.98, Sam Darnold 41.53. Some insane numbers. Like, that's bonkers. Like that you put up. Now, of course, Goff almost has to, right? They have to put up 50 points a game, right? Because they give up a ton of points. And so he keeps slinging it. And Donald doesn't really have to do the Minnesota defenses, and they're not banged up. And they're actually really good, right? So he doesn't have to do that. But yeah, he's still, I mean, and it's not even to like Justin Jefferson. He's throwing half this stuff to Addison. Addison has boomed so freaking hard.
Yep. Yeah. Well, Addison really showed that he can be a number one receiver last year when Jefferson was out all that time last year. And Addison was like, hey, I'm pretty darn good at football too. And now that we're both healthy, look out, right? They're going to be a hard out in the playoffs, right? And here's the crazy thing. You're going to have a team that has won 14 games being the number 5 seed.
Yeah.
And
well,
has to go
I talked about that.
You won 14 games and you're a road team in the playoffs.
I talked about it during Strikeout Bear like Sunday night, because I actually started looking at the schedule, and like, yeah, the NFC North played like the weakest schedule. The only tough games y'all played were against each other, like Minnesota and Detroit. You didn't play anybody else. You know what I mean? Other than like another team where like maybe I think y'all played Buffalo a couple weeks ago, but like if you looked at all the schedule, I started laughing because I was reading like all the teams that I was like, oh Jesus Christ, no wonder they're 14 and whatever, they're playing like FBS schools. I was like, what the hell is going on? But yeah, no, one of them's gonna be. I said it too. I said it on Strikeout Bear. I was like, I'm just not believing Minnesota. I don't know why. I was like, I think they're great. It's fun to watch, this and that. And when you look at the NFL, like the standings and whatever, I was like, dude, they're gonna be the first ones out. It's like, I just feel it.
Yeah, it depends on who they end up. Now, more than likely, whoever that is going to end up playing the Rams or the Bucks, the winner of that division. Rams really haven't looked that great the last few weeks. The Bucks have.
The Rams don't ever look good. The only reason they win is because they keep their defense.
Like a 4-week streak where they looked really good. Like when everyone came back, when Nakua came back and Kupp came back, and it was like, all right, hey, the Rams are back. They're figuring things out. And the defense has been clicking. The defense for the Rams has been playing good.
Amazing.
The offense has just been
terrible.
Yeah.
How many teams get a bye week, Alan? In the playoffs? Just the one seed, right?
That's it. That's it.
So right now you have the Eagles and Packers. Wait, there's too many teams in the playoffs then. Hold on, I'm looking at them. Because they haven't included the Bucks yet. They're first in the South. So they have to add that yet. So they'll be the 8 seed. I don't know why they have them in the hunt. Yeah, they're the number one in the.
Are they number one, or I thought the Rams ended up?
The Rams are number one in the West. The Bucks are in the South.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why it's like that, but anyway, so that'd be the number. They would slip up to the number 4 seed. Okay, 4. Yeah. So the Eagles will dispatch the Packers. As long as I don't even know if it needs Jalen Hurts to even be. They're the disappointment of the season for me.
And not for me. I told everyone going into the season, Jordan Love's not that guy. He's just not.
I like
him this year. What did he throw, like 150 yards this last week?
He's been terrible.
He's just been he's not that good. Everyone's like, oh, the Packers did it again because he got hot towards the end of the year last year, but
super hot.
Like, I don't know, man. I was just like,
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying Herbert, and I'm right now. I'm in love with Love. Like, Love's my guy, but you know what? I'm not going to die on that hill. I'll tell you that. I'll pivot.
We'll see. We'll see next year. We'll see when our QB rankings come out next year. Like, you know who I love? Jordan Love.
It's this year, baby. All right, so you have the Eagles and the Packers. Obviously, like I said, the Eagles are going to dispatch the Packers with ease. And then the Rams, Commanders. That's a game I'm actually interested in, right? That's
Oh,
going
give
to
me
be
the
a fun game.
Commanders. Give me the
Huh?
Commanders. Give me the
I hope
Commanders.
so, right? I mean, because they'll put up more than 15 or more than 12, 14 points. But you're right. So whoever wins this week against the Lions and the Vikings will most likely play the Bucks.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're going to play down in Tampa.
Yeah.
I don't really know about either one of these teams on the road, and I definitely I don't feel comfortable with the Vikings on the road down there. And if they have the defense that kind of actually stifle.
They're 6-1 on the road this year. They're 6-1 on the road.
Against bad teams. They're not playing the Bucks every week. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Like,
no one's playing the Bucks every week, and the Bucks.
the Bucks look great right now. Like, I
But
love them.
okay, you love the 9-7 Bucks. Okay,
Love them.
awesome.
I like them more than the Vikings. Let's just say that. I'll say that. I like them more than the Vikings.
I don't. I like the Vikings defense, and
It's got a good defense.
they have a very explosive offense. If Darnold has time, if Darnold doesn't have time,
that's the same thing I say about Goff too, because like any type of pressure and Goff comes unglued pretty quickly. Like if you can get to him, you can get to him, and then it's like all of a sudden
you can't get to him though. That's the problem. That offensive line is good.
Well, like I just said, if you can get to him if he's under pressure, he's not very good.
He's fine.
So, but like you said, you can't get to him. But if you can get to him and you can pressure him, he ends up tripping over his feet or throwing the ball in the dirt and stuff like that. So,
you talking about the old fake fumble Rooski? That was awesome.
Oh, that thing? No, that was dumb as shit. I was like, you know what? It's like watching, like, I don't know. I had like, I was like, I can't remember what exactly I said, but I had a chuckle when I said, I was like, yeah,
it's like watching the Packers play football because they saw the Packers actually fumble the ball and the Bears went all in and left the receivers alone. And so Ben Johnson goes, hey, we're going to fake fumbling it against the Bears and throw a touchdown.
You can do all these trick plays against like terrible teams. Like that's where, against like Jacksonville and the Bears and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, you pull this kind of shit out whenever you're playing like I'm not going to say special needs team because they try hard. Okay. They try hard.
They pull these plays out every week against every team. They ran the hook and ladder again this last week, except for instead of Jahmyr Gibbs, they had JMO, get it.
Who was it against?
The 49ers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, which it was funny listening to 49ers fans this week. They're like, "Oh, you're going to beat us up on us because we're injury plagued this year." You're like,
I thought they were going to win.
You guys have like 8 guys on the IR, and we have 16 on the IR. So
they just got bad towards the end of the game. They dominated the entire game until you know what happened the second half. They're like, you know what? I don't know. We don't know how to play football no more.
Yeah, well, we made some adjustments. We got some turnovers.
You're like, Purdy started throwing it like I'm like, you don't see that dude standing right there in the middle of the field. It's like, hey, you're sitting there looking. I'm like,
Kirby's done that 9 times this year.
It's like just standing there. Homeboy's just standing there. I was like, I like Purdy too. But yeah, I was like, And of course, Jerry's like, Jesus, he threw another pick. I was like, yeah, buddy, but they didn't run it back. Don't worry. It's like, but yeah, the NFC, like I said, we've talked about the playoffs before. The Bucks are the ones that haven't locked it up. Dude, if the Falcons somehow get in, they're out. They're the first ones out. They don't even need to board the plane, or they don't even need to show up to the field because they're going to lose anyways. The AFC is pretty much down to 3 teams. It's the Chiefs, Bills, or Ravens. The Texans are not beating anybody. The Steelers are not going anywhere. The Chargers are not going to do anything. The Broncos could be a little bit of fun, but
you don't think the Chargers are going to do anything?
No. I mean, they're going to play the Bills. You think Chargers over Bills?
I think they could. I think they can.
Anything can happen, but not everything will happen.
You're writing it off like it's just why even play the game?
Do you think it's like
why are you even playing the game? That's stupid.
Do you think it's 7 points or double-digit point difference on the spread for that game in Buffalo against the Chargers?
It's single digits. It's not. You're not going to come
8 or 9.
No.
Oh, you're low.
Like 5.
5? 5's an interesting number.
5.5. Is that better?
5.5? That's even more interesting. I will say this, the
J.K. Dobbins is back, right?
The Bills
go up and down. Are better with Dobbins.
Yeah,
he's back. He looked good this last week in his first week back. When they can run the ball, that sets Herbert up for the pass. That defense is good. I'm not going to write anything off. What? Don't don't turn your head at me like you're a dog and I'm like, you want to go outside?
I
You
had
want to go outside?
to, well, because you're like defense good. I'm like, so I had to remember like real quick. I was like, okay, hold on. Because there was like a shootout, but it was a one-sided show. What do you call those things? Blowouts. The Bucks were in town and just beat the shit right out of them, 40-17.
Okay.
And this is in their house. And then they almost lost to the Broncos. Remember that game? That game was fun.
Uh, but the
They
Broncos are a
do
pretty
really
good team,
well against
right?
Drake May and the Patriots. So if they can play
Okay.
Drake May and the Patriots every week, they got a shot. They got a
Okay.
shot.
So you're going to reference one bad game.
The most recent one.
Okay.
Oh no,
But
the two recent ones, and then they lost to the Chiefs. That was on the road, and everybody loses to the Chiefs, right? Are you going to bet against Mahomes this year?
hell fucking yeah.
Well, that's only for if he's playing anybody else. Are you betting against Mahomes?
What do you mean if he's playing anybody else?
He,
He ain't making it to the Super Bowl this year.
you don't think the Chiefs are?
No.
What's in the stars? What do we got? What do we got?
I think you're getting the Bills lines.
I've been saying Bills for years, and I feel like I'm going to get my heart broken again.
Yeah,
But
probably.
I think
Probably.
how many years? Or they're going to have they done the three-peat yet?
What's that?
Have the Chiefs three-peated yet? Has it
No,
been 2 years or 3?
It's been 2 years.
They're winning it. They're winning it this year.
We're not.
Yeah. Next year's Allen's year. He can have it next year. Maybe Lamar. You think Lamar or the Bills or Ravens? Who's going to win the next Super Bowl? Who's going to get there? Because neither one of them won. Or Lamar has not won, and neither has Allen. Who gets a ring first?
It's
supposed to be a fantasy show, but we're talking football. Football.
Yeah, we're talking football. Whatever. Who is going to? I would say give me Allen.
You think Allen first?
I think so. Although,
is the NFL scripted?
No, it's not.
Okay. Well, then that's fine. Now that takes out my next question. Okay.
Yeah, well, that was your next question.
No, I've already asked that one. I was going to ask another.
I think Baltimore is a better coached team. I like Harbaugh as a coach over Sean McDermott in Buffalo. I just don't think that they have. I think they're in this weird place where they can't quite figure out
how to get there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They can't get it's in their head now, right?
There's something there, right? But then again, Buffalo hasn't been able to do it since they made it 4 straight years in a row and lost. I've always had a special place in my heart for Buffalo because of that. Like a young me was like, it's their. I was always like, it's their year. It's their year. It's their year. And then they never. I always gave those teams, like all my friends were always clowning on those Buffalo teams. Like, oh man, they suck. I'm like, they in the Super Bowl every freaking year. You can't say they suck.
If you make it every year, you don't suck.
You're one of the top 2 teams every freaking year. That's not how this works. Let me explain this to you. They don't put shitty teams in the Super Bowl. That's just not the way it works. Just they just ran into that team year after year after year after year. I've always had a special little place in my heart for Buffalo because of that. Seeing them go through that. I feel like I went through that with them. But yeah, I would like to see Buffalo win, but the problem with that is they're going to run up against my Lions, and sorry, that's where I step off the Buffalo little fan base and hope for the best for the little guy, and say, sorry, buddy, it's just not happening.
When was the last time the NFC won the Super Bowl? Do you know?
I'm trying to think back. Is it Seattle?
Dude, has it been that long? I gotta go look now. Now I gotta pull it up. Well, that's back in the 60s. That's not gonna help me. What's now, bro? Chiefs, Bengals. Oh, the Rams. Rams won.
Oh right? Yeah, Stafford. Yeah, Stafford. Yeah. No, that was like 3 years ago. Yeah.
They went not the Rams, but they went back to back. Didn't the Bucks win? Yeah, Bucks drummed the Chiefs 31-9. Holy moly. And then the Rams beat the Bengals 22-20.
Yeah. I don't know why, especially the Stafford one. I don't know why.
It seems like so long ago. It's about time then, because if you look at it, like it's like they do 2 years. Like the NFC won 2 year, or the AFC won 2 years, the NFC won 2 years, and now the AFC's won a couple of years. So yeah, I mean, it might be time, man. It could be in the stars for
It's
the
in the
NFC.
stars. It's
Yeah,
written. Um, it's happening.
it's happening.
I'm
It's a thing.
Here's the thing. I'm taking the day after the Super Bowl. I've already put in my. I'm taking the day off. I'm not working.
You
I'm
coming out
either
to Henson's?
if the Lions are playing, I'm probably not going anywhere. Like
Uh,
I just want to be in my own little world. Don't need everyone witnessing me just bawling uncontrollably either way, whether we win or lose. I'll either be in shambles or I'll be partying the next day still.
Man, can you imagine? I think this is the year. I was thinking about this. I was taking a dump the other day, and I was thinking about this. I was like, I think the Lions fan base is going to overthrow the Dallas Cowboy base if y'all win. I go, this could
Well,
be it, and then
they
it'll always
can't
be.
because we won.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well,
No,
they won back
specifically
in the '90s, and
right.
so every year now, you're going to be like, this is our year. Whatever you don't win. This is our year. We won it back in the whatever. But you'll have less clout. I think you're gonna have to win a couple of them to
Yeah.
ramble those things. But I think, I think that, yeah, I think that
I
the
don't think we
Lions
will.
fans,
I just think you just like hating on the Lions because I'm a
oh,
Lions fan.
I bet on it every single week.
100%.
I bet on
100%.
I bet on them every single week. I'm like, hey,
Okay.
14
Right.
weeks, drop a little 20 spot, having a little fun, whatever. I haven't got.
You've done well.
Did
You've
I
done
bet?
well
I
this
think I
year.
bet on them to win the division too. I think I even got them to win the Super Bowl. I don't know. So
But
I'm here
here's
financially.
the thing though, like you could say like me. I always say, "Oh, it's our year," but I'm never majority of the time I've never been serious about it, right? It's just it's my team. Hey, it's a new year. It's our year. We're gonna do great, right? And you've been there with me those years, and
These
you're
last
like,
3
dude,
years
you
have been
guys,
insufferable.
you're like, you guys are 3-10. I go, yeah, but we're the best damn 3-10 team in the league.
Here we come. Here we come.
you know,
Well, I'm
it's
telling you, you win. I think it's, because Lion fans are already they're already annoying. They're starting to get that
no,
group, right? Like
no.
you're not, like you're just kind of whatever, but I'm just used to you. But on the, you're on the web here, on the interweb, and they have just starting to grow. Like, just you hear this little uproar and whatever. And it's like, okay, well now they're starting to get to the
Here's the thing.
the
No,
Cowboy thing, but without
here's
winning.
what it is. Here's what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
You guys have been pissing on us and shitting on us
Ooh.
and giving us shit. The fucking world has been pissing on the Lions for forever.
Oh,
And now
I
that
mean,
we're actually pretty good, and we're like, hey, we're pretty good this year. Everyone's like, you know what? Shut up. And I'm like, whoa, whoa. Let us have our freaking moment, okay? Back up. Let us have our moment. We're good. We're good, right? And it's not just that we're a good team, right? Because we came into the season, we knew we were going to be good. We knew we were going to be competitive. We've had so many injuries and so many guys go down, and you see it, like you hear it here in Dallas. Oh man, the Cowboys are going through so many injuries, and
they still suck.
we're going through more injuries, and this is like historic, the amount of injuries that we've had this year and the amount of players that have gone down. It's like every time you turn around, you're like, oh, okay. Our best defensive player went down. Oh, one of our best offensive players went down. Oh, our entire linebacker core went down. Oh, crap. Our entire defensive line is down. Like
It's been good for fantasy though.
It's one after the other, after the other, after the other. And we're 14-2. Right, it hasn't stopped us. We lost, early in the season to the Bucks, which is a good team. It was a hard fought game. It was a close game. Dan Campbell will tell you he cost the team that game. But and then we lost to Buffalo 48-42. Right.
Do you think it's a major benefit that you've played the AFC South this year, like the whole y'all's whole division?
I
Like that's
honestly don't. I don't think it would have mattered.
It doesn't matter if you played like a good division?
I don't think it would have mattered.
Like
Yeah,
if
I
you
think this team is that good.
Yeah?
This team is that good. I don't think it would have mattered, honestly.
What was y'all's record last year? You know it, right? What off the top of your head?
I want to say we were 11-6 last year.
What division did you play last year? The predominant division.
I don't remember off the top of my
Was
head.
it the NFC South?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm not worried about last year. I'm
No.
focused on
I'm just saying, it's like I'm trying to piece together a couple things that are like, okay, yeah, okay, I can see it. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
but
I can see some things coming together here.
okay, are you telling me we wouldn't have done the same thing against the AFC North? I mean,
Against Lamar and company? I don't
yeah,
think so.
I think so.
Really?
I
I
think
mean, you're
we
gonna
would
have a
have done
chance
the
to
same thing
figure it
with the
out if you
AFC
make it to
North.
the Super Bowl
Well,
because
they
maybe
got it
Lamar.
out there, right?
They got a pretty good chance, I think. But yeah, you haven't played anybody this year. I think your biggest chance, like the biggest.
That's your excuse
No, no, no.
every time I talk about us.
I was going to
We
look
have
at the Bills.
we
The
play
Bills
who's in
that you
front of
played
us.
somebody. You played the
We
Bills, and it sucked. You were at home though. But
no,
yeah,
no. Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah. We're
I'm
undefeated
look,
on the road.
I'm looking at
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah, no. Yeah,
I'm reading the stats, man. I'm
yeah,
looking
no,
at
it
it.
was a tough game, but
That was the only really challenge you had. Now you did play the Vikings back in October, right? And the Vikings, they're 14 and whatever, just like we all are, right? 14 and 2,
14-2?
14 2.
Yeah.
And so that's like, okay, cool. You'll play two teams this
We
year.
okay, but so now you're on are you now of the train of thought that the Packers suck? Because that's
Oh,
not where you've been all
I
year.
still like the Packers, and y'all beat
Okay.
them. Yeah, you'll
Well,
beat them.
we beat their ass twice.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Got them on the road and at home. Man, they
yeah.
damn near got you in December. That's right. Yeah, yeah, that was the close game. I remember that.
Yeah, but they didn't.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But yeah, and I mean, anytime you play anybody that's
we played
not good,
at the time when we played them,
who
we played a fully healthy Cowboys team and beat the living piss out of them.
were the
And
Cowboys
and
good?
and at that point in time, the Cowboys were still one of the better teams in the league as thought by everybody,
I'm
right?
gonna tell you this right now. That was my favorite game of the year.
Dude, I had so much fun that game. Like, I
I
that
think I was texting Melton, and I was like, "Bro," because y'all were 4-1 at the time. Cowboys were 3-3, and they were like, "Yeah, no," but they also just got throttled. Was it the week before where they played? When they get drilled by New Orleans, like when New Orleans just teed off on their
I
ass.
think it was like week 2.
Week 2, so that's how you always had it in your back pocket. Like, Jesus Christ, they're not good,
'Cause New
but you're
Orleans was
like,
only good for yeah, it was week 2. Because
yeah,
New Orleans was only good for 2 weeks. Because 2 weeks in, we're like, "Man, here's where we were at the beginning of the year. New Orleans whoops the Panthers 47-10 and whoops the Cowboys 44-19, and we're like, "Hey, I think the Saints have figured something out."
I was so hard on the Saints all of a sudden. I go, buddy, here we go.
Man,
I was there to look at the rankings and go, man, they're making the playoffs. They might even they're going to go
let me
deep
tell you
into the
let me
playoffs.
tell you about this Derek Carr guy. I think he's gonna be MVP, guys. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. He's got it figured out.
Everyone got so hyped because week 1, they played the Browns, and we all didn't realize how bad the Browns were.
Oh my
And they
gosh.
drum them, and then you find out the Browns kind of suck. And I mean, it went downhill after that. They lost. Oh God, not to get off track, but yeah. So the Saints drummed them. The Ravens beat them. They've lost. They lost like 2 straight or 3, or no, they won one against the Giants. So the restored order, right? And they beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Everybody's riding high. They're
Yeah.
feeling great, and then 47-9.
Just
And that was when the season ended. That's when
it
they're like,
was
you know what? My arm hurts. You know what I mean? Like they were done.
it was so great. And like that was the Sunday that I took the kiddo to Waco
Uh-huh.
and I had the game I recorded the game. And I wasn't gonna watch it until we got to the treehouse, right? But we got to the treehouse, and then we all hung out, right? And we built a fire, did s'mores, played games, and so it was like 1 o'clock in the morning before I sat down to fire the game up. I had
Jesus.
complete avoidance on all my phone. I didn't even look at it the entire day. Wasn't going to look at it. I wanted to watch this game, and I already knew I knew we had won because at one point in time, my kid who had been with me the entire day, the oldest had told her that the Lions won big, and she was like, "Dad, did you watch the Lions game yet?" I go, "I've been with you
I'm gonna
all
start
day.
smacking people.
Have you seen me watch it? You're really gonna watch it. Want to watch it, Dad? Yeah, no, I really want to watch it. No, you're really gonna want to watch it. I go, yeah, I know I am. Just stop talking. Like, And
Hey,
then
idiot! I want to watch all the Lions games.
and, and then just to sit there in the little treehouse watching them just beat the ever living piss out of them. Oh man, that was just
Bro,
it was
that was
so
that
it
was
was
the game
so
of the
great.
year. That was the game of the year.
It was
Yeah.
so fun. It was so fun.
Oh my god.
Oh
Oh,
man.
did I close that window? All right, hold on. Let me go back.
But look out for some videos coming out from us, guys. We're gonna go over some of our busts. We're gonna go over some of our big players for the year. These will be more so maybe like some videos that we're gonna record because as you can tell, when we go live, we just go off the rails. Um,
Yeah, this will be
we'll,
concentrated and have some
we'll
effort.
we'll have some concentrated videos out there, some shorts out there. We're gonna talk about. I plan on doing a whole video on Joe Burrow and about
Duncan's still
why
here.
you don't want to play him the first part of the season and go over the history of Burrow the last like 3 years, I think it is.
And just the Bengals in general.
The
Yeah.
Bengals in general, right?
Yeah.
If you're a betting person, I don't care who the Bengals are playing in week one,
Week one.
take whoever they're playing. Just take them. So we'll have stuff like that coming out. I've already talked about I want to start getting some early rankings out there, start talking about these players, and then once the draft happens, we'll adjust it based off of, hey, these guys were drafted. We'll talk about the players that came out of the draft that we really like. We'll get some with this year being the first year that both me and you are part of some keeper leagues. We'll have some keeper talk, right?
Mhm.
And we'll talk about some guys on our teams that we're looking at keeping,
Dynasty
and
stuff.
that they want to do a lot of the dynasty league stuff. But I'm looking forward to it. But first, last thing I just want to say, guys, thank you everyone for watching us all season, sticking with us, letting us help you, taking some advice from us, not just taking advice from us, but listening to us talk it out. Right. I had one guy a couple weeks ago that was like, "Hey, man, thanks for not just giving me an answer and giving me your thought process." And I'm like, yeah, that's what we're about here. We're not just going to give you answers. We're going to give you our thought process. We're going to let you know why we're thinking what we're thinking, and we'll talk about it with you. And there's been a couple times where I've been like, I'm leaning this guy, and then someone like Duncan will start talking. Yeah, well, what about this and this and this? I'm like, man, you know what? You're right. Right? We like to be like a sounding board for you guys and talk it through with you and help you figure it out. Duncan, back-to-back champion, brother. Congratulations.
I will say this real quick too.
Go for it.
Duncan and Michael, they both have, like, people come in and ask questions. They answer the questions too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we're sitting here talking, we're going through the thought process and just firing off names and whatever, they also respond. So you get not just us, you get the people who are here listening and watching as well.
Yep. And we're going to point out what they say, right? We're one of those where we try to be 100% interactive, and share all your guys' thoughts. So if you tell us something, we're going to throw your comment up there and say, hey, Duncan says you should go with this guy. This is his thought,
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah,
Appreciate
thank
that.
you guys so much. It's been a blast. Looking forward to continue to grow and give you guys some new content and some new things as we just kind of figure out as this is our first off season. This is our first season of focusing just on fantasy football on one channel. We're really kind of looking forward to where this is going to go and having some fun with it.
Yeah, I do want to say congratulations to our champion, Mr. Dylan Busby, Barry Badger.
Oh yeah,
He won he won our listener league this year. Thank you so much. Appreciate you for being here. He usually pops in either later, comments later, or whatever. He does a podcast as well, mostly football. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Another great year, stressful year because our league's a little bit difficult, but we're gonna tweak it a little bit for next year. But yeah, big shout out to him. Congratulations. Yeah, we're points per carry, points per, whatever. We're gonna gear it up just a little bit further. But
I'm gonna find a way to give you points per timeout called. If your player calls a timeout, we just got to get those QB scores are too low. Let's get those up. Those rookie numbers. Let's bump them up.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And congratulations again to Dylan. So cheers, bud.
Yep. But hey, guys, thanks so much for watching. We appreciate you. As always, I'm Alan.
I'm RD.
We'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.